Picture this. It's early 2026. You got $600 to spend on a new phone, and you're expecting to walk away with something decent. Not amazing, not top tier, just good enough. Instead, Apple is about to hand you a phone that makes their own $1,200 flagship look like an overkill purchase for most people. That phone is the rumored iPhone 17e. On the surface, it sounds impossible. This is the spot where Apple usually dumps their leftovers. Last year's chip, old design, chunky bezels, big notch, recycled parts. The budget box. But this time, the leaks tell a very different story. Apple looks ready to sneak flagship-level features into a mid-range price and drop this thing directly into the one market Android has dominated for years, the $500 to $700 range. In other words, the iPhone 17e might quietly become the default iPhone for normal people in 2026. And the craziest part is that the one obvious compromise, that 60 Hz display, might not matter nearly as much as you think. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know if this is the iPhone you should actually be waiting for, or if Apple is just playing mind games with the pricing. Let's start where Apple usually cuts corners first, the design. Think about the cheaper iPhones from the last few years. You could spot them a mile away. Outdated bezels, old notches. They worked fine, but they never felt current. It was like buying a brand new phone that already looked 2 or 3 years old. The iPhone 17e flips that script. According to multiple leaks, Apple is finally getting rid of the classic notch on the budget line and bringing the dynamic island down from the flagship models. That means the cutout at the top of the screen isn't just a dead black bar anymore. It becomes a live, animated space that responds to what you're doing. Music playing? It pulses up there. Timer running? It sits in that pill. Incoming call, navigation directions, ride-sharing status, recording indicators, they all live inside that little island. You're not just looking at a cheaper iPhone that copies the shape of the Pro models. You're getting the same interactive experience people actually like using. On top of that, the bezels are rumored to be slimmer and the overall footprint is staying nicely compact. So instead of a budget box, you're holding something that looks like it actually belongs in 2026. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool design, but where's the catch? The catch is almost certainly the screen refresh rate. 60 Hz instead of the 120 Hz promotion panels on the higher-end models. If you've used a 120 Hz display, you already know how good it feels. Scrolling is smoother, animations are more fluid, everything just glides. Going back to 60 can feel like taking a tiny step backward. But before we decide whether that's a deal breaker, you need to see what Apple is packing behind this screen. Because the cameras in the chip are where things get very serious. Let's talk front camera first, because this might be the sneaky star of the show. The iPhone 17e is rumored to feature an 18-megapixel ultra-wide front camera with center stage style tracking. That means instead of a simple, static selfie lens, you've got a wider view and smart software that can follow you as you move. Imagine you prop your phone up and walk around during a FaceTime call. Instead of you drifting off to the side of the frame, the software crops and pans to keep you centered. That same idea applies if you're filming content. You can move, gesture, lean, and the phone adjusts to keep you in the shot. And this time, Apple is reportedly bringing proper landscape video support to the front camera UI. No more turning the phone sideways and guessing if you're framed correctly. You can shoot horizontal video with the front camera like a normal camera and let the tracking do the rest. For content creators, vloggers, and even casual users who film a lot of stories, reels, or shorts, this is huge. You're looking at a $599 phone that can double as a capable vlogging camera without extra gear. On the back, the main camera is no slouch either. The 17e is expected to carry a 48-megapixel primary sensor, similar to what's in the standard iPhone 16 series. What does that get you? Detailed photos, much better low-light performance than older 12-megapixel sensors, and the kind of video quality Apple is known for: sharp, stable, and reliable. No, you're not getting a dedicated telephoto lens. No 3x or 5x optical zoom. That's one of the boundaries Apple is keeping for the Pro line. But ask yourself how often you truly use those zoom lenses. The vast majority of everyday photos, family, friends, pets, trips, food, random moments are shot with the main camera. That's the one that matters most. And that's where Apple isn't cutting corners here. Between the upgraded front camera built for creators and the 48-megapixel rear camera, this budget iPhone starts looking a lot like a content machine disguised as a mid-range phone. Now, let's get into performance, because this is where Apple snaps the mid-range market in half. Inside the iPhone 17e, leaks point to the A19 chip. This is an Apple tossing an old processor in there to save money. This is the same generation of chip powering the flagship 17 series, likely with a slightly reduced GPU configuration, but still miles ahead of what most Android phones in this price range will be running. Here's what that means for you in real life. Apps open fast, and they stay fast years down the road. Multitasking is smooth. Web pages load quickly. Games run with higher graphics and more consistent frame rates. Photos process instantly, even with heavy computational tricks. Then there's the neural engine, the dedicated part of the chip that handles AI and machine learning. That's what powers smarter photo enhancements, on-device voice processing, text recognition in images, real-time captions, and whatever new AI features Apple will be pushing in the iOS releases after 2026. You're not just buying today's performance. You're buying a runway of 5 or more years where your phone still feels modern. And let's be honest, in a mid-range Android world, that kind of longevity is rare. Many devices feel great for a year or two, then updates slow down, performance degrades, and suddenly you're shopping again. Apple is basically putting a flagship engine in a mid-range body and saying, you can keep this for a long time. So how is a phone like this coming in at just $599? A big part of the answer is manufacturing. Apple has been aggressively expanding production in India, and as those factories scale up, costs come down. Supply chains tighten, logistics improve, and Apple gets more flexibility on pricing. Instead of only using that margin to increase profits, Apple appears ready to use some of it to attack the mid-range market directly. $599 is an incredibly aggressive number for what this phone is rumored to offer. A modern, dynamic island design, a high-quality 48-megapixel main camera, an upgraded ultrawide tracking front camera, and the A19 chip. And they're reportedly timing the release for February or March of 2026. That's just after the busy holiday period, when a lot of people didn't splurge on a $1,000 Pro model, but are starting to feel how old their current phone is. In other words, Apple isn't just releasing a cheaper iPhone. They're aiming it exactly where and when it hurts their competition the most. So who is this phone really for? If you've been sitting on an iPhone XR, 11, 12, or even an older SE, this is the upgrade that finally makes sense. You get a fresh design, way better cameras, modern features like Dynamic Island, and a chip that makes your current phone feel ancient, all without pro-level pricing. If you've been bouncing between mid-range Android phones because flagships are too expensive, this is Apple walking into that price range and saying, we can play here too. And if you're a creator on a budget, or just someone who records a lot of life, that front camera setup alone might be enough to sway you. So what are you giving up? You're almost certainly not getting 120 Hz. No ultrawide promotion. No telephoto camera for optical zoom. No premium materials like stainless steel. The question is, does that truly matter for you? If you've never used a 120 Hz display, the 17e is going to feel fast. The A19, the animations, the iOS optimization, they all help mask the lower refresh rate. Coming from an older iPhone with a 60 Hz screen, this will feel like a big jump forward overall. If you're coming from a Pro model, yes, you will notice the difference in smoothness. Once your eyes get used to 120 Hz, going back can feel like a downgrade. So it really comes down to priorities. Would you rather spend hundreds more to keep the super smooth display? Why and gain some extra camera flexibility? Or save that money, stick with 60 Hz, and still get a phone that looks modern, performs like a beast, records excellent video, and is built to last? Apple is betting that for most people, not tech reviewers, not spec chasers, but normal users, the answer is obvious. $599 wins. So now I want to hear from you. If the iPhone 17e really launches in early 2026 at $599, with Dynamic Island, a powerful A19 chip, an upgraded front camera with tracking, and a 48-megapixel main camera, but only a 60Hz display, is that enough for you to buy it over a more expensive Pro model? Or would you still pay the extra cash just to keep 120Hz and a telephoto lens? Tell me what you'd pick. The 17e, a different iPhone, or an Android in the same price range, and why? Your answer says a lot about what actually matters in a phone in 2026.